All right. Shalom, family. It's your brother Kanaiba coming at you once again with this video titled, What Can We Learn from This Situation? The second greatest commandment. Okay. So, Miss Keke Palmer has been making quite a bit of noise in the media for the last month or so due to the situation or the triangle between her man, or really now her ex, we'll get into that in a minute, and Mr. Usher Raymond, right? And it all started really when she went to Usher's concert not too long ago, okay? And, pretty much dressed distastefully for somebody that's in a relationship and a mother, okay? Really, no woman, whether she's married or not, should be dressing like that in public, okay? But for the way she was dressed, and not only that, her conduct with Mr. Usher Raymond at his concert, okay? In which we'll watch a clip. We'll watch the very short clip here in a second. But so her now ex took to social media to really speak out against the way she was dressed, mainly the way she was dressed, and really just her behavior at the concert. Okay? And so what this video is really going to be about is what can we learn from this situation. Okay? And we're going to get into the second greatest commandment. Okay? Because what I'm going to do, okay, we're going to talk about Keke Palmer for a little bit, but I'm going to put a little more light on Mr. Usher Raymond in this situation. Okay? Because as we know, yes, we do have wicked women amongst our people, amongst Israel, but that doesn't exclude the fact that there are a lot of wicked men, a lot of wicked Negroes amongst Israel as well. Okay? And I'm going to put a lot of onus on him in this video. Okay? And we're going to get into the second greatest commandment. Okay? But what I want to first do, let's actually watch this short clip of how this whole thing really transpired. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so this is pretty much the video that jump-started this whole situation, this whole messy triangle between Miss Keke Palmer, her ex, and Usher Raymond. Okay? And, her ex, he had every right to feel the way that he felt. Okay? Because looking at this video, okay, this was completely out of order. No man would want their woman behaving like this with another man, let alone somebody that's a celebrity like Usher Raymond. Okay, this was completely out of order. Now, I know a lot of women, not you sisters that's in the truth, but a lot of women will look at this and say that was harmless. Okay, and I expect them to say that. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, this was not harmless. Okay, from the way that she was dressed to the way that she was hugged up with Usher Raymond, all close and everything like that, to the way they were looking at each other. Okay. A lot of times, nonverbal language speaks louder than verbal language. Okay. Which we'll talk about it a little bit more later in the video. Okay. But I just wanted to show that short clip to show you how this whole thing really transpired. Okay. So we're going to pick it up from here. Right. Which is going to lead us to why I'm talking about the second greatest commandment. And, what does this have to do with this whole situation? And how can we learn from this whole situation? Okay, everything that happens in life, there should be a lesson behind it. Okay, in which you can go back to the scriptures and learn this lesson. Okay, so let's actually dive into it. Let's get to the scriptures. Okay. All right, so opening up with the scriptures, we're going to start with the book of Mark, chapter 12, and we're going to start with verse 28. And it reads, it says, and one of the scribes came, and having heard them reasoning together, and perceiving that he had answered them well, asked him, which is the first commandment of all? Okay, or basically, which is the greatest commandment of all, right? This is what one of the scribes came to ask Yahushua. Okay, so let's see how he answered them. Let's go to the next verse. So this is verse 29, and it reads, it says, and Yahushua answered him, the first of all the commandments is, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. So he basically quoted the Shema prayer, which is in Deuteronomy 6 and verse 4. Okay, in the ancient Hebrew would be Shema Yasha'Allah, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Ahad. Okay, so that's the first thing that he said. Now let's move forward to the next verse. Okay, he's still dealing with the first of all the commandments. Okay, let's move forward. So this is verse 30, and it reads, it says, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. Okay, so that's the first of the greatest two commandments. Okay, so now we're about to move forward to the second greatest commandment. Okay, let's take a look. So this is verse 31, and it reads, it says, and the second is like, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. Okie dokie. Okay, so those are the two greatest commandments. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to focus in on the second greatest commandment. Okay, because that's the part of the title of my video. Okay, and it ties into this situation with Miss Keke Palmer, her ex, and Mr. Usher Raymond. Okay, so the second greatest commandment is to do what? To love your neighbor as yourself. Okay, now for those who don't know and those who may know but still just want to get simple, okay, let's go and define who our neighbor is. Okay, we're gonna take baby steps here. We're gonna walk through this thing. Okay, just be patient with me. We're getting right back to this triangle, this messy triangle. Okay, but I gotta lay the foundation of what my video is about. Okay, before we get into anything else. Okay, so now let's define who our neighbor is. Okay, because this is the second greatest commandment. Okay, let's take a look. All right, so this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, and we're going to start with verse 17. And it reads, it says, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Now, what do we see in this verse? We see the word brother and neighbor really being used interchangeably. Okay, same people. Your neighbor is your brother. Okay, but we're going to get even more specific in the next verse. Okay, and allow me to also point out that when Yahushua quoted the second greatest commandment, he's quoting what we're reading right now. Okay, more specifically, the next verse, which is going to be verse 18. But the point is, we already know, or we should know by now, that the law, which is what he was quoting, the law was only given to the children of Israel. Okay, so that should let us know who our neighbor is. Our neighbor is our fellow Israelite, as we're about to see in the next verse. Okay, let's move forward. Let's look at the next verse. So this is verse 18, and it reads, it says, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord, or I am Yahweh. Okay, so again, now we're seeing the children of thy people and the word neighbor being used interchangeably, because that's who our neighbor is. Our neighbor, which is also our brother, is the children of our people, not every single person on the planet. Okay, and this is what Yahushua was quoting when he quoted what's the second greatest commandment. Okay, so now that I've said all of this, that I've laid the foundation, okay, this now leads us back to this messy triangle. Okay, and it also leads us back to Mr. Usher Raymond. Now, how does this all tie in together? Okay, because when you look at the second greatest commandment, okay, let's put it in perspective. Okay, if you truly love your fellow Israelite, okay, and you know it's certain things that I personally wouldn't want to happen to me, so out of love for my neighbor, my fellow Israelite, I'm not gonna do that to them. Okay, that's where Mr. Usher Raymond comes into this equation. Okay, now some of you may say, well, maybe he didn't know that Miss Keke Palmer had a man. Okay, granted. Maybe he didn't know. Okay. At first, I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and I said the same thing. At first. Okay. But what has since transpired after the concert solidifies that, okay, this was wicked as hell. Okay, because you're pretty much now justifying what happened at the concert, knowing that she had a man. Now you're justifying it. Okay, and it's really in complete violation of the second greatest commandment. Okay, because I'm sure Mr. Usher Raymond would not want this very thing to happen to him if he was in the other brother's shoes. Okay, but what do I mean by he's pretty much trying to justify what happened at the concert? Well, here recently, Mr. Usher Raymond and none other than Miss Keke Palmer has now put out a music video. Okay, it's Usher's music video, and it's a single called Boyfriend. Okay, as you can see here. Okay, and I've watched the music video myself. And it's pretty much a direct jab at her ex and the whole situation that happened, okay, that caused them to break up and everything like that. Okay, and if you listen to the lyrics of the song, Usher is pretty much he's promoting, like most other R&B singers, promoting adultery. Okay, if you listen to the lyrics, he's pretty much talking about if your boyfriend is looking for me, all he has to do is look for wherever you are. That's where I'm at, because I'm always in her head. That's the gist of the whole song. Well, if you don't believe me, go listen to it for yourself. Okay, but in turn, this is Mr. Usher Raymond justifying what happened at his concert. Him and her trying to justify it. Okay, and it's really her trying to save face, because she knows what she did was wrong. Okay, and this is really her saving face, and this is him trying to justify and capitalize on this particular situation. Okay, it's all wicked all the way around. Okay, now some people may look at the music video and say, oh, they're just poking fun. Okay, that wasn't the whole theme of the video. Okay, and when you look at the video, they do make reference to, other songs of his and other music videos, etc. But that's not really the point of that video. The whole point was to really take a jab at her ex. Okay, that's really what it was about. And that's wicked as hell. It's in violation of the second greatest commandment. Okay, because if he had love for his fellow Israelite, okay, as another brother, he would not have even put out this music video. Okay, in fact, he would actually feel partially responsible for breaking up a home. Okay, because that's exactly what happened. That's why I said we're going to talk about it in a little bit. And now here we are. They have now actually broken up over this situation. A home has now been broken. You have another single mother. Another statistic just simply based on the folly that happened at his concert. Okay, let's actually go back here. Let's go back to the second greatest commandment and let's look at it again. Okay, so going back again, this is Mark chapter 12 and verse 31, and it reads, and the second is like, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. Okay, so when you look at this whole situation and really everything that happened after his concert, would you say that Mr. Usher Raymond was showing love for his neighbor? Okay, or any type of sympathy for how the whole situation has now ended up? Another statistic, another broken home. Okay, because again, that's in violation of the second greatest commandment. Okay, to love your neighbor as yourself. Okay, and that's why this is one of the greatest commandments. Both of these two, loving the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. That's the first. And the second is to love your neighbor as yourself. You want to know why these are the two greatest? Because all the other commandments, okay, which in totality is 613, okay, all the other commandments are linked or stem directly from these two. Okay, and we're about to get into one of the commandments that actually stem from loving your neighbor as yourself. Okay, let's take a look at it. All right, so this is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 14. And it reads, It says, thou shalt not commit adultery. Okay, that's pretty straightforward, short, sweet, and to the point, wouldn't you say? Thou shalt not commit adultery. Okay, so now from there, we're going to get more into it. From there, let's move forward here. And we're going to go to Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 10. And it reads, it says, and the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, and we already know who our neighbor is. It says, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. Okay, so now let me make this disclaimer. Just because it says that you commit an adultery with your neighbor's wife, that's not giving you a pass to commit adultery with a woman of another nation. Okay, you just simply look at the situation with King David and Uriah. Okay, so again, I know how Negroes look for loopholes. Okay, there's no loophole here. Okay, but I went here and I went to Exodus chapter 20 to basically prove a point here. Okay, that this actually stems from the second greatest commandment. Okay, if I truly love my neighbor, my brother, and you know the type of pain that comes to a man knowing that his woman has been with somebody else that's stepped outside of that covenant of marriage, you know that type of pain that it brings. Okay, because I love my brother that much, I'm not gonna deal with his wife. Okay, that's how this stems from the second greatest commandment, to love your neighbor as yourself. Okay, I wouldn't want anybody sleeping with my wife, okay, and bringing that type of pain and hurt to me. So in turn, and out of love for my brother, my neighbor, I'm not going to do that to them. That's why this is the second greatest commandment. Okay. Now, some of you may say, well, Usher didn't commit adultery with her. He didn't sleep with her. Well, not that we know of. Okay, I'm not about to slander anybody's name. I'm not saying that they did. We don't have that information. Okay, so that's not what I'm saying. Okay, but what happened at the concert was bad enough. Okay, and then even when we go into the books of wisdom, okay, when you go to Sirach, it talks about this similar situation. Okay, and when you look at the books of wisdom, okay, those books are there. Those wise sayings are there to keep us from violating Torah. Okay, let's actually take a look at this. Let's go to Sirach real quick. Okay, so this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, chapter 9 and verse 8. And it reads, it says, turn away thine eye from a beautiful woman. Now watch this. And look not upon another's beauty. Let's pause for a minute. Okay. Keke Palmer, that was another man's beauty. She belonged to another man. She was in a relationship at the time. Okay. Now, this is partially her fault, because she should not have been flaunting her beauty the way she did in that see-through dress. We're going to get back into that, okay, later on. Okay, and the way she was flaunting it, she shouldn't have been doing that, knowing that she was a woman in a relationship and how that would make him look. Okay, because again, see, this loving your neighbor as yourself, this is a two-way street now. If she truly loved her neighbor, which was her man, she would have cared how this situation made him look. I don't want to be out here looking stupid like a fool. So I, in turn, out of love for my neighbor, my man or her man, I'm not going to go out dressed like this and conduct myself this way with another man. Okay, especially out in public. Okay, whether it was in public or not is really not the point. But in public, that's even worse. Okay? But anyway, let's move forward here. It says, for many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman, for herewith love is kindled as a fire. Okay, so again, what that last part is saying, you don't want to start something that could spark and grow into this sin that's called adultery by looking at another's beauty. Don't even start something that can grow into this messy situation. And in the end result is adultery. Okay, let's look at the next verse here. So this is verse 9, and it reads, it says, sit not at all with another man's wife. Now watch closely. Nor sit down with her in thine arms. Allow me to repeat that part. Nor sit down with her in thine arms. Let's pause here for a minute. Okay. This verse says, nor sit down with her in thine arms. Let's pause here and let's go back to the video, shall we? Now, let's evaluate, shall we? The scripture explicitly told us not to sit down with another man's wife in your arms. Okay. Now, granted, they're not sitting down, they're standing up, but she's still in his arms nonetheless. Okay. Now, no man in his right mind would want another man serenading his wife with her in his arms like this. This is off. And just look at the see-through dress. And look at this here. Okay. Now, what did I say earlier? Earlier, I said a lot of times non-verbal communication or non-verbal language speaks louder than verbal language. Okay. Now you see that little turn that she just did? Okay, every man and every woman really knows what that is. That turn and then her looking back like that, what that signals is non-verbally, that's a signal that, okay, he can get it. Okay, especially with a see-through dress like that, she's basically displaying herself to him. Okay, this is the non-verbal language that I'm talking about here. Okay, this is completely out of order. And the brother, her ex, had every right to feel and say what he felt and said on social media. Okay, to express his anger, because this is completely off. This is completely disrespectful to him. Okay, displaying your body in this see-through dress, we can see your behind, all your assets that's really only supposed to be for your man to see. Then you turning around and displaying it for Usher as if you're saying you can get it. Okay, you ready to give it up. That's the nonverbal language that's going on here. Okay, but hold on. Let's continue. Let's continue further with this video. Let's evaluate here. Now look, let's pause right here. Now, again, nonverbal. And I'm going to keep repeating this. Non-verbal language oftentimes speaks louder than verbal language. Now look at Usher here. Look at this Negro. Now, every man and every woman really knows what that look right there is. Okay? Now that's the look of a Negro that's saying within his mind or thinking to himself, oh, all the things I would do to you. Okay, that's really what it is. All the things I would do to you if I could get you alone. That's that look. We all know that look. We've given that look before. We've had this look before. Okay? That's what that look is. That's the nonverbal communication that's going on here. Okay? That's why I said this whole situation was messy. Okay? And now that, and the fact that Usher made this music video trying to justify it, that was the final nail in the coffin right there. Okay, but let's continue here. Now look at this. Look at her. Just look at the behavior. Now look at this. Look at her. Acting like a straight up groupie. Look at this. Let's pause here. Okay. Just I guarantee you, she has never acted like this over her ex. Okay. And that's the person you're supposed to be acting like this over. Okay. Acting like a complete fan. Okay. All of that, overjoyed and excited and blushing. You're supposed to be acting like that over your man. Not some complete stranger that just so happens to be a celebrity. Okay, this is completely and utterly off. And that's why the brother was upset at this whole situation that happened due to Mr. Usher Raymond's concert. Okay. Now, with all this being said, okay, you can put all of this blame on Keke Palmer, in which, some of the blame is to be laid on her. But this is what we got to remember, okay? Even though it's wrong, you kind of expect this from women in this wicked kingdom, okay? At the end of the day, we are the men. We are the head. Okay? Most of the onus falls on us. Okay? Because really, this whole situation really could have been avoided if one person, just one, Mr. Usher Raymond, had what I like to call righteous character. Okay? And it's not just Usher Raymond, but most of our Israelite men lack this. They lack righteous character, which is something that all Israelite men need. Okay, and if we had this, okay, this whole situation never would have happened. Okay, so let's get into this a bit. Okay, righteous character. What do I mean by that? Okay, first, let's deal with the definition of character. Okay, let's take a look at that. Let's get the definition of character. Okay? So here is the definition of character. Okay, and it reads. It says the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. Okay, so character is dealing with your mental and moral qualities. Okay, so what determines or shapes your mental and moral qualities? Okay, because most people in general will say, oh, I'm a good person. Okay, but that's a very blanket and broad statement. Okay, it's subjective. What truly makes somebody a good person, or what really shapes somebody's mental and moral qualities? Because that's what's going into character, your mental and moral qualities. Okay, that's why I said we need to develop righteous character. Okay, so now we're going to put all this together. Okay, what actually makes one righteous? Well, first and foremost, we automatically know, or we should, that Yahweh Shai, faith in Yahweh Shai and the sacrifice that he made for us is first and foremost what makes us righteous. Okay? But secondly, what else coupled with that deals with our righteousness? Okay, let's take a look at something here. Okay? So we're going to go to the book of 1 John, chapter 3 and verse 7. And it reads, it says, little children, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. So I want to point something out here. This verse says that he that doeth righteousness is righteous. Now that word doeth or do, that's an action word. Okay? So there's something, there's some type of action that's coupled with faith that makes one righteous. So there are actions that's coupled with the faith that makes one righteous. How does one do righteousness? Okay, well, let's get the answer, because we're going to bring it all the way home. Because remember, we're dealing with righteous character, something that Usher did not display. Okay, in which this whole situation could have been avoided. Okay, and remember what character is dealing with. Okay, the mental and moral qualities that's distinctive to a certain individual. Your mental and moral qualities, how you think, how you act and move. Okay, so how does one do righteousness? Let's get the answer. Okay, so this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6 and verse 25. And it reads, it says, and it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do, there we go, to do righteousness. That's the answer we're looking for. Let me start from the top again. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahweh our power, as he hath commanded us. This is how you do righteousness. Okay? When you try to keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. Okay, this is a show of obedience. Okay? When you do this, you are doing righteousness. Okay? And you couple that with faith, this is what makes one righteous. Okay? So now we can bring this on home, because what is character dealing with? Okay? Character, again, is dealing with one's the mental and moral qualities of an individual. Okay, what shapes somebody's mentality and their morals? Well, if you have righteous character, it's the law, statutes, and commandments is what shapes your mentality and your morals. This is why we need righteous character. Okay, because if we as men were to have righteous character, if the commandments of the Lord is what would shape the way we think and the way we act, you wouldn't have situations that happened with Usher, Keke Palmer, and her ex. Okay, because Usher would have had righteous character, and he would not have dealt with somebody else's woman the way that he did at the concert and afterwards, dealing with that music video. Okay, that's the type of brotherhood that we need. Okay, when you look in this society, these women, they have a toxic, wicked, sorry excuse of a sisterhood that they stick to that code. That's why most women are trying to defend what Keke Palmer did. Okay, that's their sisterhood that they stick to. But we as Israelite men, if we were to actually have a righteous brotherhood with men that actually have righteous character, you would not have situations like that. Why? Because if you had righteous character, what would shape your mentality and your morals? The second greatest commandment is what? Loving your neighbor as yourself. Okay? If I had that righteous character, you know what? I'm not going to commit adultery with another man's wife. I'm not going to bring that hurt to my brother. Okay? In fact, even past the adultery, I'm not even going to move with her like that. Okay? I'm not going to have another man's woman in my arms. I'm not going to serenade her like that. I'm not going to be spending all this time with another man's wife. That's off. I have righteous character. I'm not going to do that. I hold myself to a higher standard. Okay, this is how brothers are supposed to be moving. But now we don't have that. We lack the righteous character, and now we think it's something to brag about to be able to take somebody else's woman. That's why Usher made that Sorry Tired music video. Okay, this Negro is 44 years old. How you gonna be a 44-year-old fuckboy, if I must say so? Excuse my language, but that's what he's acting like with that music video. You're 44. You're pushing 50. You need to sit down somewhere and worry about what you're gonna do with the Cleveland Cavaliers or something. Okay, but this situation here, this was off in every way. Okay, but again, this is why we as men, as Israelite men, we have to hold ourselves and each other to a higher standard. We have to develop this righteous character. Okay, which meaning to the point where the word of the Most High, his laws, statutes, and commandments is what shapes our mentality and our morals. Our morals meaning what? How we view the difference between right and wrong. Okay, the laws shape our mentality and how we view what's right and wrong. That's dealing with morals. Okay, so in totality, we need that righteous character as Israelite men. Okay, and if we have that, you're not going to see situations like what we're talking about here. Okay, because the women in turn wouldn't be able to act like that with just any old man, because all the men have the righteous character. They're going to get rebuked for dressing like that and acting like that. Okay, see, that would clear up a lot of problems. It starts with us as the men, as the head. Okay? But anyway, I believe this is actually a good place to end the video. And again, the title of this video is What Can We Learn from This Situation? The second greatest commandment. And of course, this video was about this triangle between Keke Palmer, her ex, and Mr. Usher Raymond. Okay, and this whole thing was a mess. You know, the brother in the middle here, he had, you know, every right to feel the way that he felt. Okay, he was completely disrespected. And again, Usher, being the oldest one in this triangle at 44 years old, he should be past this. Okay, it's really no age where this is acceptable, but you would expect this from somebody that's, you know, in their 20s or maybe even still in their early 30s. Okay, but you 44 years old. Okay, you pushing elderhood, sir. You pushing 50. Okay, you shouldn't be mixed up in these types of situations. Okay, you at the point you supposed to be bestowing wisdom to these two on the left. You know how to move in life, how to, you know, avoid these types of situations. Okay, because you've been Usher done been in the tabloids before. Okay, dealing with his relationships. We all know that. Okay, so you should have enough wisdom and experience to not even be caught up in this. Okay, but all this really transpired from your concert. Okay, so a lot of the onus, I would even put most of the onus on you. Okay, I still put a great deal of onus on Keke Palmer. Okay, but again, you to the point where you expect this out of Eve in this wicked kingdom. Okay, again, that reproach has to be taken off of them. Okay, but it is what it is. Okay, unfortunately, again, we have another statistic, another broken home over this messy situation. Okay, so again, as men, just focus on developing that righteous character. Let the law, statutes, and commandments shape your mentality and how you view right and wrong in this world, and you'll be just fine. Okay, so with that, and as always, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh, which is the name of the Heavenly Father. And I do so by Hashem, which means in the name of, Yahweh Shai, which is the name of the only begotten Son of the Heavenly Father, whom the world knows as Jesus Christ. And I want to thank all you brothers and sisters for tuning in. I hope this video was informative and edifying. And until next time, Shalom, family.